What's up, everyone? Today's video is divided up into 4 parts. The first part, I go over the 3 years that I did in prison and how it motivated me to start my own business when I got out, and how those with the same checkered past can benefit from the tips that I share. That's the first part. Second part, live POV footage of us doing the biggest. Look at that cat. Look at that sword right there. I didn't even notice that sword when I walked up to the door. Look at that sword. I'm talking about 100 tons of trash and how you can avoid making mistakes when bidding on jobs like this that'll cost you a lot of money, or it could save you a lot of money and keep it in your pocket. The third part is a live call with the contracting officer who put out the solicitation for this bid. We show you basically the entire conversation. If you're going to benefit from everything or anything, it's going to be that.
9 folks, maybe 10. Just because I just need 3 if it's under 100 grand.
And then the fourth part, psychology of bidding. Deep dive into bidding, all things bidding, how you should bid, whether you should try to beat your competition, and should you win every bid. Let's go. All right. As you can see, got the fancy shirt back on. Definitely don't need a fancy shirt. Not saying you need it. This is just a personal preference. Plus, I like how it looks on me. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I'm in the gas saver, i.e. the Honda that I used to use for medical courier deliveries. Man, let me wipe this lens. This looks foggy. This was the first car we had together when I got out of prison. Yes. One of the main reasons I started my own business was because I saw what it was like for someone who got out of prison. You did your time, you served your time. They made it absolutely difficult, so difficult for you to reintegrate into society. Largely all over the United States, nationally, recidivism rate, that is the rate at which people go back to prison, is like 72%. I've destroyed that statistic because I was never going to go back. I'd rather be dirt poor on the street, but at least making an honest living, or not committing a crime or looking for fast money, rather than looking for that fast money, doing it illegally and going back there. It's a character thing with me. Anyways, but I don't have to be dirt poor. Why? Because there are ways to make a living. There's ways to create cash flow without actually being a 9-to-5 job. What I did figure out, if you're in this predicament and you're like me, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to be a business owner. I always believed that I had what it took to be one. And I've come to find out that that's true. I have what it takes to be one. Even with a full-time job, I was doing side hustles and little small business on the side and things like that. Anyway, they made it really hard for us, and this is the first car we had. It was brand new. Stitch got us places that we wouldn't have gotten without Stitch. But now he's a little banged up, a little beat up. I guess you're supposed to say she, right? But my wife said this is a he, so okay. Stitch got us places and has just done so much for us. I mean, I'm at 244,000 miles on this Honda. They just don't make them like that. You know what I mean? I know I just mentioned to you something really big. Dropped the bomb of being in prison. Did 3 years, was supposed to do 25 years. It's only by the grace of God that I am where I am. And that's kind of the approach that I have with running this business as well, is that I put in the work. If I don't sow, God can't bless my work, because there's nothing to bless. There's no seed to bless, but I'm going to sow my seed, and I'm not going to withhold my hand. I'm not going to sit and wonder, is this the perfect time or is that the perfect time? There is no perfect time. I say it over and over again on this channel. You'll hear me say it again in the other videos. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 1 through 6 says, "He who observes the clouds and he who regards the wind will neither sow nor reap." What does that mean? It means that if you continue to look at the conditions and attempt to find a reason of the conditions of the world, society, the economy, and you attempt to look and find an excuse, not really a reason or a reason, you'll find one of why it's not a good time to start, of why it's not a favorable time to do this, of why it's not a favorable time to do that. And granted, there are some times that are more favorable to buy real estate than others. But if you're in it for the long haul and the long term, say 15 years, then none of that really matters, because in the end, over time, it's just going to appreciate anyway, as long as you're in it for the long run. That's the one message that I got from anyways. So you'll always find a reason to not do anything, right? You always find a reason to not get started. You always find a reason that today's not the right time because of this. Today's not the right time to buy an investment property because of these interest rates, or because my credit score is like this, or because I'm broke, or because I don't have the expertise yet. Let me wait until I get the knowledge and the expertise. Let me wait for the perfect timing. It says, he who observes the clouds and he who regards the wind will neither sow nor reap. Whichever way the tree falls, wherever it falls, there it shall lay. So you're wondering, is it this gonna happen, that gonna happen? Hey, listen, whether this happens or that happens, what action are you gonna take in spite of it? What are you going to do in spite of it, right? And so it says this, it gives the best advice ever. In the morning, sow your seed. Meaning, in the beginning, do what's necessary. Even with this YouTube content here, I'm just sowing my seed. Whether it succeeds or doesn't succeed, it's largely not up to me. The result is not up to me. The work that I put in, the care that I put in, the refinement over time as I learn and I adjust and I put in, that's up to me. Me learning and adjusting is up to me. But the result largely is actually not up to me. Is there a market for this? Is there an audience for this? Is there a people for this, right? So I'm going to sow my seed. In the morning, sow your seed. In the evening, do not withhold your hand, for you do not know which will prosper, whether this or that, or whether both alike. You don't know. So just go. Do your thing. Do what's necessary. Sow your seed. You don't know what's going to prosper. Just get started. Take action. Anyways, yes, I did do time. And I remember getting out, not having those opportunities. And by the time I did have the opportunity, just so you know, after 10 years, no consumer report goes back 10 years. So even if you have a conviction, legally speaking, employers cannot go back that far, nor can they ask you, have you ever been convicted of a crime? Very few jobs can do that, right? It has to be within the last 10 or 7 years. When 2020 hit, my 10 years was up, so I couldn't even drive Uber or Lyft, even though we had, the vehicles to do so. It's because of my record. And then I went and did it again, right? At that time, I think 2019 was a time where DoorDash and Instacart and all that stuff was getting really popular, and you could actually make some pretty good money, especially off of tips, because when they did do a background check, it came up perfectly clear, and I was ecstatic. But by the time that happened, I was already doing side hustle on side businesses, trying this, trying that. I started my first LLC, the Bright Track, which was tailored completely at that time towards software engineering. And then I quickly changed that up from freelancing to doing medical couriering. Anyway, long story short, that's why I'm so passionate about building a business. Why? Because I want to build a business where guys like me can have a job and make an honest living. I wouldn't say in junk removal, but in a lot of these government contracts where they can actually make prevailing wage off of doing a lot of what a junk removal guy would do, if that makes sense. Here's some tips. If you have family members, or if you got out 7 years ago and you're still not past that point, or you just got out and you've made the change, you paid your dues, right, to society. Now it's time to be a productive member, and you're trying to figure out, man, which industry should I get into where this isn't going to actually be an issue or a problem? Construction, period. Construction. There's no other job like plumbing, an electrician, tile setting, all of these type of construction type of trades. You can make the amount of money you do, more than a college graduate, more than a bachelor degree, more than a doctorate, a PhD, and you can do it really fast with a record as construction. The other thing, you should start your own business and bid on government contracts, local government contracts, meaning county, city, statewide, and federal. Why? Because whether you are a felon, not a felon, ex-convict, not ex-convict, you can succeed. It's not a requirement. So a lot of these government contracts, there's no background check needed, and yet you can make prevailing wage because you're supposed to pay your workers that on public works. So again, start your own business. That's another one. I don't know what to do. What's the first step? The first step is you have to come up with a service. It's not even getting an LLC or a business. What service are you going to target? Well, how do I figure that out? Maybe you already have a line of expertise. Think about the city you're in, the population, and do keyword searches. Find out if you have an idea and you put it in, like junk removal over here. We have a lot of competitors, but we also have a huge city that is growing. We're smushed between two cities, right? Seattle, which is very big, and the Tacoma, which is not as big, but this whole area is extremely populated, close to a big city. It's constantly growing. Seattle's constantly being built. Housing prices are going through the roof. They're constantly building houses, things like that. And so this business does well here, including general contracting, including handyman, pressure washing. So you just kind of do your research there, and then you find your prices, and then you find which one you're going to offer. You refine your offer. Then you test it. You test it. Tell people you're offering these services. Friends, family, people in your community. If they hire you for the services, and then the next one hires you, and the next one hires you, and the next one hires you, then you know you have something on your hands. And then from there, then you go get your business license. I don't need to tell you how to get your business license. Just go on DOR, Department of Revenue, right? Or your government's website or your state's website. File for your LLC. All these things are pretty easy. You just have to read instructions. Getting an EIN is free. Don't pay someone to get you an EIN. Just follow the steps on irs.gov, I think. I've done all these things myself, but all of that doesn't make you a business. What makes you a business is that people are purchasing your service, if that makes sense. Anyways, you got this. I didn't know what to do, really. I knew business friends, but they can only tell you so much. You have to experience it. Even if you experience it with anxiety for a second, you still have to experience it, right? So those are my two recommendations. Start your own business or go into a construction trade. Do just fine. It'll take time, but just don't give up. God bless. All right, so I just got here. We just arrived. Well, we, meaning me. I'm still waiting for Dex to get here, my partner. But I can already see why they said visit at your own peril, or yeah, I think they said peril. Let me double check. Or at your own risk, or something like that. Let me roll up my window because there's tons of flies here. So I'm gonna get out, and then we'll have to check this out. I'm still waiting for Dex's reply. If he doesn't reply soon, I'm in. So here's part of it. You can actually see. You can start to smell too. You can see those boxes right there. What's up? This is Oh, they are. They live here. Yeah, so we got all this. This is just the outside. Yeah. This is the outside. We've got car tires, car parts. Yeah, it's all this. Car parts. All of this stuff is probably. We're just gonna consider everything. Probably that refrigerator. Then on this side, let me zoom out. Got all this. The tent. All of this stuff right here. Over there. Let's go around to this side. Right over there. More stuff here. Lots of car parts. Probably lots of batteries. Lots of biohazard stuff. I see a tank right there. Lots of scrapper parts. On the outside, all of those things. And probably even on the inside over there. Hopefully you guys can see it. I can already see like, this is like multiple 40-yard dumpsters. I think even all the way over there. If you can see underneath, but right there. On this side right here, right next to the tree. More on that side. Dishwashers, parts. No, I don't think, I think it's just the outside. We're not actually sure if, I don't think it's the inside, because it's actually code compliance reaching out to us, and code compliance does not deal with the inside of the house. For the most part, the inside can actually be all jacked up and stuff, as long as it's not affecting the outside. I gotta grab the stand. But if once it starts to affect the outside, then code compliance gets involved, and I think they may be funding them because they may not be able to afford it. And you can even see over there, over the fence, probably even that tent over there as well. Let's go over here really quick. I mean, this is right on the side of the road, so no wonder why they discovered it and got a complaint also. Oh yeah, see, I mean, even that all by itself over here. Let's check this out behind the, look at that. That right there already is a full load. That's already would have been just junk removal down there. Let's extend this. That already would have been $600 easy, just this part, just right there. Now we got to put in a competitive bid. I think he said their max budget was 10,000 or 12,000. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And then there's back there, all the way back there as well. Oh man, I gotta zoom in. Hold on. You can see all the way back there. As well. So let's double check with these guys, because they told them we'd be by. No, we can't get rid of cars. We can't get rid of cars. That would be someone else. I mean, we could, as long as they have the titles. If they don't have the titles and it's not in their name, then we can't get rid of them. If they have the titles and it's in their name, then what we can do is we can basically call those car junk places, and then let them come and get it for free if they get, you know, junk cars for free. But wow, so even the back is pretty bad. It's huge. So the front, the back looks like it's pretty much the front repeated. Where's that? Whenever I see places like this, I get very, very excited. This right here has me extremely excited. Very, very excited. As long as no one does something stupid and lowballs this, we're good. As long as they don't lowball it, as long as they price it for what it is and what it actually takes to clear this, and the hazard pay that it actually takes, we'll be good. If they lowball it, then we won't be good, because I'm not lowballing this at all. I'm not going down just to get this job for no reason, just to scrape by with a minor profit. This is a lot of stuff we have to consider. There's things here that we won't even be able to, we're gonna have to pay extra to dump, or yeah, still wondering if we'll do the trailer per trailer, or we'll just grab 2 dumpsters that can fit, one right over there, one right here in the driveway, and just go at it. We just got to see how much we can put in each, and then what the weight limit is. A lot of the scrap metal, maybe we can get some scrap metal guys to come in and grab this also, all those tools and stuff down there. But I get excited here. Number one, they're about to get their property cleaned up, and then number two, well, we about to get paid. So keep you guys posted on this. Should we knock on the door to go in the back? Huh? All right. Okay. Hey, really quick, if you're doing junk removal and wanting to get hoarder jobs and things like this, you have to really look out for stuff like that, because there's probably tens of those, maybe hundreds piled all in here, right? And that stuff is extra. you're gonna get charged extra. And if you don't put that in your bid, you're gonna pay for it. Someone has to pay for it, including like appliances. Again, all this metal. There's, you know, the tires, things like that, appliances, probably the camper top, all of this stuff, another appliance. All that is extra, at least $33 extra at a residential transfer station. So you're gonna have to consider all of these things when creating your bid. Don't be quick to get something because you're like, oh man, this is a cash grab. This right here, this section that you see from here to there will take all day. You heard me. It's gonna take all day from here, wrap around that side and over there and here. It's gonna take all day. Even with like 4 guys attacking it, it's because there's piles and piles of stuff compressed in there and smushed down and compact. And a lot of these bags are gonna rip when we pull them up. A lot of these stuff in the bags aren't even supposed to be in the bags because they weigh probably like 150 pounds of just stuff and crap, right? Look at that tank. You can't take that to the landfill. That other tank, you can't take that. Look at inside of that truck. That truck probably hasn't been driven in a while. And if they want us to clear that truck, then we're gonna have to figure that out, and you're gonna have to price that into the quote. So I'll snap some pictures of 1, 2, 3. You can even see car parts all the way back there. Honestly, the back is probably gonna be the hardest. We'd have to clear the front first. And there's no telling what you're gonna find under all this. Guaranteed rodents, guaranteed rats. This guy loves rats.
See my ears perked up as soon as it said rats.
Guaranteed rats, huh?
Guaranteed rats.
Guaranteed rats. The back is probably gonna take 2 days just because you can't get a dumpster back there. This is like a 6-man job at the least over the period of 3 to 4 days, depending on how fast we can turn over these dumpsters. I mean, we can do a few truckloads, but we don't want to do that. That's going to take up the time. What do you got in the back? Gee. Look at that. That's what I'm saying. The whole back is the front. The back and the front is just as bad. Wow. Yeah, there's no difference between the back and the front. Exciting times. I wonder how many other people he reached out to. I'm unsure how they got their prices of 8,000. This is very bad. This is the worst outside I've seen. But I'm glad it's outside and not inside. Inside would get even worse, and it's more stuffed and cramped. Stuff, anvils, all of this. Definitely a scrapyard. Probably I can see in there. If you can see in there, there's stuff in there also. Look at all those tires right there. See those tires? Tanks. Yeah. You guys be careful if you ever attempt to bid on something this big. Don't be just putting in a bid because you're excited to get this and you think, oh, 10,000, 12,000. No. 10,000 and 12,000 is not what you get. 10,000 and 12,000 is probably going to go all into doing the work and you walk away with absolutely zero profit. Consider that. Because when you rent dumpsters and you dump them, you also have to consider the weight, the tonnage. They have tonnage overages. So I think some of these bins can only handle about 5 tons. So, I mean, most of this stuff is taking that up, right? If we can't get scrappers out here to come grab the metal and stuff like that, then all of that's taking all that tonnage up real fast. That's not considering the tires and things like that also. Batteries, all of that stuff is extra charges, different types of waste. You can already smell the the urine and stuff like that. That's just all over everything. Yeah, well, keep telling yourself that. This guy doesn't want rats. I don't like rats, but I'm not afraid of them. Actually, who knows? Maybe this is over the fence right here. Yeah, I don't know about 12,000. This is at least 20 grand. This is he tried to say that. That's what they think. They're not considering that a business is in business for profit, not just to break even after helping you out, you know. But that's what they're saying, what their budget is. They're probably just gonna have to send out a rebid, because although I'm excited to see this, the people, oh man, it's a lot. It's a lot.
They should tell us too, though, like they're out, or I'm assuming that they don't like it.
Let me snap these. Oh, bro, they're gonna try to get
Cars and trucks.
I don't think the cars. I think they can do that themselves with if they need to. All right, so listen to this. What is it?
Oh,
So it's they calculated it to be 35.
Yeah, their estimator calculated 3,500 to 10,000.
Yeah. Absolutely. 3,500 doesn't even cover the dump fees. That's probably what they're thinking. 10,000 probably covers the dump fees, including the dumpster fees and maybe some labor. Definitely not even all the labor. They're not even considering labor. They're just thinking about how much it costs to throw it away. So whoever they have calculating these costs, they're not thinking like a business owner. They're thinking like a code compliance officer who's basically like, oh, well, it takes this much to throw it away. But they're not considering the fact that there's some human beings who have to be paid to throw this away, and they have to be paid. Their compensation has to be in unison to the type of job they're doing, and this is hazardous pay. So this is no longer junk removal. That's not junk anymore. That's biohazards. You can smell the piss, you can smell the pee, you can smell the urine, human and cat feces. You can smell it, human and cat pee. So this is look, so another car under there that probably has to go. Yeah, they are out of their minds. And then we have to obtain a right-of-way permit. So we got to look through this, and we're gonna shoot our shot and shoot our bid. See, that's their estimate. That's their estimate. Now we have to give our estimate. I'm almost positive that anyone who did bid on this is bidding over 10,000. We're not doing it for 15. We're going to do it for a lot more than 15. And then all of the steps that they want us to accomplish, such as obtaining a permit. Come on, a right-of-way permit, which is easy, but still, that's extra work. And their estimate is 10. No problem. They'll get educated real fast.
They're giving us 20 days to complete the job, meaning that they know that this kind of work is going to take approximately 20 days. 20 days for this kind of work with how many workers?
Yeah.
We need at least a minimum, at least 6 people.
We're going to have to use a skid steer with a grabber arm. Both of them will have a grabber arm. I mean, to get a lot of this and to make it worth it, even with extra help and extra manpower, we're still going to have to rent some of this equipment. So, yeah, so they know it's going to take at least 20 days. And let's divide 3,000 by 20. Just divide 3,000 by 20. So they're expecting a crew of 6 to make, what, $150 a day? That's $150 a day? That's $150. Are you out of your mind? Okay. Well, okay, what about if it's 10? Then all you do is take 150 and multiply it by 3. That's $450 a day. That's $450 a day. That's just what it's going to cost for the dump fees a day. That doesn't even cover a crew at all. And 20 days? No, they're going to get educated real quick. 20,000 is probably nowhere near enough either. It's more like 25, 30 grand. This is a really big job. It's all the way in the back also, so we got to get some clarity. Whoever decides to do it for that much, oh my goodness, they're going to be mad that they did. I mean, I'm not saying that it would take us 20 days. I think this would take us maximum 6 days, maximum.
You do got to remove the vehicles too.
So they do want us to remove the
Yeah,
vehicles.
removal of inoperative or junk vehicles.
That's hilarious.
So I'm assuming this trailer too.
Nah, I don't know who they expect to do all this. Did they say they're handling the dump fees? Anyways,
item description: we gotta be handling the garbage, rubbish, and waste hauls. We have to handle that. These are all. It looks like they have it already on here. What is expected, right? Garbage, rubbish, and waste haul. Removal of inoperative or junk vehicles.
yeah, that's a lazy bid. I mean, look at that.
List.
Yeah, their list is weird though.
Those are prices. One.
Sometimes these bid line items are too complicated and sometimes they're too simple, but too simple is better than too complicated. So, all right, I'll check back with you guys in a little bit. Definitely the worst we've ever seen, especially on the outside. I mean, this is a lot. This is a lot. Look at that cat. Look at that sword right there. I didn't even notice that sword when I walked up to the door. Look at that sword. No trespassing. Sword. You know why? No one would bond this. Boom. How silly is that? Say that again. Say that again.
No payment shall be issued until the city receives a statement of intent to pay prevailing wages.
Absolutely garbage, trash. There's no way you can pay people prevailing wages on this job and it'd only be $10,000, including the dump fees, the dumpsters, rentals, all of that stuff. Nah. With the bobcats, all of that, no.
The property owner is sick, and this is the work of all her friends that have come over and started living with her.
Right.
And but anyway, I'm sure you've seen it all before.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is like, well, it's exciting when you see it because you're like, wow, all right, here we go. We've done this before, but at the same time, you're very cautious because I see piles, and we know we've been surprised the first time to think, that pile, that's gonna be this and that, and then it's the pile that never stops giving, and then you realize, oh my goodness, that was twice as much as what I thought it was, and we discovered some, new substances that human beings have never seen. Yeah.
No, I've been doing this for 25 years, so I certainly understand.
Yeah.
Holy crud. Yeah, and I'll be on site when the cleanup occurs, whoever gets the contract, because I've told them, we're not going to take, tools or anything that, still has some reasonable use.
Okay.
But so if there's any question of whether it stays or goes, I'll be there to help at least negotiate with these people, because they've kind of had some issues in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got a sword. Yeah, they've definitely got a sword sticking out of the stairs, and with a no trespassing sign and severe consequences.
Yes. Did they give you any problems?
No, nothing. Yeah, we were coming, so there's no problems. It's just the scene is just a funny scene.
I hear you. Yeah, bid whatever you're gonna bid. I didn't push this out to a huge amount of people. It was like 8 or 9 folks, maybe 10. Just because I just need 3 if it's under $100 grand or whatever it is. But my budget is also very limited, but it is what it is. And my city manager, who actually only lives like half a mile away, said, clean it up. So, we're whatever the bid is what the bid is, and we'll figure that out later.
Okay, sounds good. That's all I needed to hear. I really appreciate you.
Hey, thanks, Pete. I appreciate you going out and looking at it.
No problem. Look forward to working with you soon.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
All right, man. That place was crazy. So, as you guys can see, I was on the phone. I'm showing you guys everything, man. This is some valuable stuff. This guy's he works for the public, obviously, right? So he works for the city. So there's nothing being hidden because the bid is out to the public, to public companies. Not public companies, but it's out to the public, anyone who can fulfill the requirements, do the job. and has the right insurance, etc. So if you notice, so we were complaining a little bit, talking about, hey, how are we supposed to do this for 3,000 to 10,000? We're not. So we were never going to submit a bid for $10,000. There's no possible way. What I was going to do, like I said before, is that we were going to shoot our shot based on what we know it would take us to actually do the job in a right way. We're not thinking about our competitors. I'm not trying to get the bid. I'm not trying to get the job. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying, my focus is on, when submitting a bid, is not selling the customer and not trying to get the job, but attempting to just simply share and educate the customer what it would take us to do this job the right way, not what it would take us to do the job being angry or irritated because we know we underbid and now we're in trouble, doing it halfway and afraid. My job is to simply share with the customer what I believe it would take to do the job and for us to do the job rightly. I want to do the best that I can, but I also have to make a profit. See, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer in Christ. But I also believe that making a profit is 100% God created. God, like, all you got to do is go plant a seed. Take an apple tree seed or an apple seed or an orange seed or whatever seed you want, a corn seed, and you put it in the ground, okay? Do you get back more than you put in? If you do all the proper things, if you water, if you sow, if you nurture, if you do what you're supposed to do and you take care of it and you feed it, it gets the sun, it gets water, and you nurture it, do you expect to get back more than what you put in? Yes. Why? Because you were trained to. By what? By nature itself. Nature itself tells you should get back more than what you put in. So, who created nature? God, on the first day. God created light, etc., etc., etc. So I don't feel guilty on making a profit. I have to be able to make a profit to cover my expenses so that we can do the best job possible. My focus is not on trying to get this job, but on doing the best possible work I can. And the way I do the best possible work I can is I'm paid what I'm worth and what the job is worth. Okay? I'm compensated according to the job. Anyways, with all that said, this is the fastest I've ever heard back from a city official. When I say a city official, I mean any contracting officer, any one of these people who hold a government job. Usually you're waiting like a day, 2 days, 3 days. In fact, this guy on the phone literally says on his voicemail that it may take me a day at least. I usually don't get back to calls until 24 hours. And well, he called us back in 5 minutes. Thank God. He called us back in 5 minutes. He's the coolest person so far we have worked with who is in control or in charge of a bid. We laughed, and the first thing he said, because I sent him a message, and when I sent him the message, I basically said everything I told you guys. There's no way we're going to be able to do this for that much. It's at bare minimum $20,000, bare minimum. So what he tells us is he goes, oh yeah, as far as the price, don't worry about the price. That's just something that I put in there. I just put 3,000 to 10,000 in there because the last time I did a hoarder house, it was 5 tons and it cost us about $5,000 when we were all done. And I'm looking, and I laugh and I smile. I said, right? He goes, yeah. So I just needed a number to put there, but you guys put in what you think is necessary, what it's actually going to cost. And I told him, I said, wow, yeah. So you know then. He goes, yeah. I said, this place is at least going to be 30 tons at the very least. The last hoarder house we did, not the last one, but the first hoarder house we did, the garage, just the garage, most of which was furniture, appliances, and piled up stuff, just miscellaneous stuff and clothes, was 10 tons. Just the garage. This property is like 10 garages of that hoarder house. 10 garages. We're about to be at like 100 tons of trash, 100 tons of stuff. And a lot of the stuff, if you have seen, you saw was heavy debris and things like that. And so we're gonna be up here. And so he said, no, bid accordingly. And he's like, I haven't been to the back. I said, well, the back looks like the front, plus half of what's in the front. It's not as crowded as the front. It's more spread, but because there's more room, the back looks like the front. Wow, yeah. Put in what you need to. And the fact that he's talking with us kind of shows me. So these are things that I look for when talking to a contracting officer, someone who's soliciting a bid from the government. I'm looking at their attitude. I'm looking at their response rate. And if you guys remember from the video where I shot and I was on the bike, and I told you guys we had a bid that fell through that didn't do what we thought it was going to do. We thought we had a perfect price, but somebody underbid us by $10, right? It was the watering one. And so my main takeaway from that, I had a positive reinforcement, and I was very positive about it, because if you guys remember what I said, they emailed 100 people. How do I know they emailed 100 people? It's because on the bottom of the list, it shows all the people they emailed, okay, on the bottom of the email, and it was about 100. 3 people bid: us, the company who won it, and another company who was way over all of us. They were like a premium company. They bid $700 per watering, and it was only 3 of us. So this one, he only sent out 8 emails, and I'm almost positive we're the only ones who actually came out. How do I know that? It's because we talked to the neighbors across the street who said all of this started happening in 2017 when the old man died. Oh, how many people you guys seen come out here? Nobody? We thought you guys were the city. So what that shows me is that no one came out, and we may be the only ones bidding. Here's the other nugget that he mentioned. I said, oh, okay, because I already know it's going to be a lot more. And then, do you know if they have any permits for the vehicles? Not permits, but titles for the vehicles. I'm almost thinking that they don't. He's like, yeah, the vehicles are they're a little bit complicated, because unless they look like they can't move at all, then we're going to have to do something about it. But I know that's going to be challenging, because in order to scrap something or trash a vehicle, and to get it towed, you're going to need the title. I said, exactly. He's like, so we'll work with you guys on that one. And he's like, oh, also think about, like, if there's tools and stuff like that that still look like they can be used, we're going to push that stuff to the side. So he's giving us clues, okay? He's basically showing me that he's easy to work with, he's a reasonable person, and that he'll understand when there's stuff that we go, oh, well, that wasn't in the bid. We didn't consider ripping that apart. I'm not even sure if we could, because he's a government official. He wants to do things the right way. Anyways, the last nugget he mentioned was, he goes, well, the reason why I reached out is because the city manager lives here, lives about half a mile away, and they drive by it every day, and they're like, you know what, just get rid of it. And so he gave me the okay, as long as it's under $100,000. He said that. He said as long as it's under $100,000, which gave me a clue that the bid can be up to 100,000. Now, are we going to bid 100,000? No. But I'm listening for certain cues and certain tall tale signs. Does that make sense? If you're listening to this, do me a favor, like and subscribe. I'm literally videoing a conversation between us and a potential client. I'm showing you what it looks like during, in actual action and in play. This is good content. So please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know what else you guys want to see. Let me know if you have any questions, and if there's something that is unclear, or if you want me to address something. All right. The first time you guys actually got to meet Dex, hopefully within 2 weeks or so, 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks, we'll be shooting a video, me on a skid steer, crunching some junk and throwing it in the dumpster. Man, that is gonna be some fun. All right.